So, welcome, folks, to another podcast on building a high performance team. Today, I'm delighted to welcome Tony Buck with us. Tony is the Chief Revenue Officer with Exonar. Tony, really lovely to see you today. How you doing?
Yeah, really well. Real thanks for having me, Darragh.
It's my
Thanks for
pleasure
having
to
me.
my pleasure, Tony. And I know we had a quick chat about Exonar and everything that you're doing at the moment in startup mode. So I really appreciate you giving us some time to talk to us today.
Yeah, you're
Um,
welcome.
if we start off, maybe if you could tell us a little bit about Exonar, and what
Yeah,
they're doing.
yeah, absolutely. So Exonar is a UK-based technology company that's VC funded, that's taken the world by storm, actually, with their data indexing technology. So we help organizations to understand where their information is and what it is right across their technology stacks and their data stores. So what that means, Darragh, is that if you know what information you have where it is, you can secure it better, because you know where your crown jewels are. You can do things like data migration projects more easily, because you only take the information that you want to take. But you can also do things like PII, posture risk assessing as well. So yeah, we're helping organizations to solve some pretty important business initiatives.
Wow, that's really cool, and I'm familiar, especially in the security sense, cyber security sense, that knowing what your crown jewels are, the key data is fundamental to your whole security plan and your how you go about making sure that your data is secure. Very cool.
Absolutely.
Can you tell us, Tony, a little bit about yourself professionally, and maybe a little bit about yourself personally as well? Anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, absolutely. No worries. So look, long time now in and around sales and marketing, probably too long to care, 20 plus years, 25 plus years, mainly in and around data management, information management in one guise or another, primarily working with large tier one software organizations, the likes of Hitachi, Dell, Symantec, etc., etc. More recently, I've decided to pivot towards helping to build something, hence the move from the tier ones to Exonar, which is a startup. So yeah, I've been doing that for the last almost a year and a half now, and I must say I'm loving it. It's hard work, but it's rewarding.
Excellent, excellent. That's,
Yeah,
I mean, startup mode. Anyone I speak to in startups, it's a bit of a roller coaster, but always very, very exciting. And I can tell talking to you, you're getting a big buzz out of it.
oh
Is
yeah,
there
absolutely. Go on.
is is there anything about kind of Tony personally you'd like to share with the guys?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a father, so father of two. So I was going to say two children, but they're adults. My daughter's 30, almost 31. My son's almost 26 now, so I'm aging myself there. I'm a big sports fan, so I love the F1. I love football. I'm an Arsenal fan for my sins at the moment.
Yeah.
But I like to keep fit and active and spend lots of time with my friends and family. So there you go, bit about me.
Excellent, excellent. Thanks, Tony. Thanks for that. You know, Tony, you've been, I guess, you just mentioned some of the tier one companies that you've been working with there, and you're in a top senior leadership position within Exonar as well. And you've had many different leader positions, I know, down through the years. Can you tell me a little bit about what it means to you to be a leader?
Yeah, absolutely. It's an interesting question that's widely debated, and I think everyone has their own perspective on this. So I'll
Yeah.
share with you my perspective. So I think leaders. It's really important for leaders to have a clear vision, a vision that inspires their followers to act, and not just their followers, but probably followers in other teams, in adjacent teams. But a clear vision is a real hallmark of leadership, I think.
Mm.
Um, I think leaders get their team involved as well in the dream. It's not just theirs. So the vision is not just theirs. It's important for leaders to, if you want, enlist their followers into the idea and almost contribute to the building of that idea. And I think the effective leaders that I've kind of followed and seen through the years usually stand for something. They have a core set of values that they're held accountable by, and they live by, if you will.
Yeah.
I think that way the team can see consistency, they can see congruence with what's being said and what's being done. So standing for something, I think, is really important. And if you do that, I think you are more authentic, or appear more authentic, than if you're less consistent. I think a good leader has to empower their people to be able to act, and in doing so, give them power, if you will, to be able to do the tasks that you've employed them to do.
Yeah.
But to do that, to empower people to act, isn't just saying, giving them permission to go and do something. I think it's giving them the tools to do that as well, Darragh. So,
Yeah.
making sure that they're being coached, and they're being given the right enablement to be able to do the things you want them to do in an effective way. So empowering people's is a really important part of, I think, of leadership. But also, when all is said and done, being able to evaluate where you are, where the team is, not just the team, but yourself as well, being able to self-reflect, and to look back on the goals you've set, and just to see and evaluate where you are against those goals. So at a team level, evaluate; at an individual level, being able to evaluate the members of the team and give constructive feedback, but also to self-reflect. I think these things are really important in leadership. And finally, but last but not least, the ability to be able to encourage people, to lift them, to inspire them to do their best work. So I don't know if that's just one perspective.
No, I really like that. I guess I especially like the self-reflection piece, is which I imagine must be quite challenging, trying to take an objective perspective. But and I love that motivation piece. Getting people to have the kind of fire within them to achieve great things. Tony, in terms of leadership itself, where would you see the balance in terms of kind of nature versus nurture, being kind of born with it, or more, is it more a learning process?
It's a really good question. Again, I can only give you my personal opinion on this. I think leaders can be made, actually. I think if they have the right ingredients, they can be made. Because if you think about what I've just said there, I think people can be taught to have a clear vision. I don't think you have to be born with a clear vision. You can be taught to think about what it is you want. What is the vision for the team? I think also you can be coached to ensure that you get people involved in that vision, and all the things I've just said. So I'm erring on they can be made, not born. I think some are born. Don't get me wrong. I do think that there are some just natural born leaders, right? But I don't think that leaders come in all shapes and sizes, and I think some can be made as well. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think that's, I love hearing things like that myself, in terms of, if it's a desire, if it's a career path, if it's a way you want to go, if you're not sure about it, it's something potentially you can learn, which I think is fantastic. Tony, in terms of kind of planning, kind of versus intuition. So if you're, do you feel, is leadership for you, is it more about, thinking on your feet, or is it about having a really solid plan in place? What do you think, in your experience, or what works for you more there?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's a bit of both, Darragh. I really do. I think there's times where you need to go with your gut instinct or your intuition.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've read a book called Blink before, but I think it's by a guy called Malcolm Caldwell. But he talks about the power of the subconscious mind, and essentially your mind is like a recorder. It records all of the things that you've experienced, all those experiences. So you can reliably I think, depend on your intuition when you need to, more than people think. But also, you clearly you need a plan as well, right? You need a plan. Without a plan, you don't know where you're going. So I think it's a
Yeah.
combination of having a plan, but also using your intuition and your intelligence when you need it. It's that combination of both, I would say, not one or the other.
That makes a lot of sense. I guess if you've got a plan in place, then to have the belief in yourself, have the confidence that you can make the right decision, based on your experience, and knowledge, that makes a lot of sense. That's really cool. Tony, can I ask you, kind of looking at the teams themselves that you have led over the years, what for you have been kind of the key characteristics to building that team with a high performance, or what are the key characteristics you see in high performing teams?
Gosh, good question. Good question. So I think, see, I'm a big F1 man, and
Right.
I like, clearly love Lewis,
Yeah.
UK guy, go UK, and I love what the team over there are doing in F1 at the moment,
Yeah.
and they are a model high performing team, and I think if we look at what those guys are doing there, they clearly have got a strong purpose that they believe in. I think they want to be the best. They want to change history, and I think they're all lined up behind that vision that Toto has given to them, who I think is a fantastic leader, by the way. I think the team's got a strong identity. It's a team that certainly I would want to join, and I'm pretty sure that anyone within F1 would want to join that team. So whether you're in the pit crew or you're a driver, the identity of that team is one that you want to be associated with. So I think having a strong identity is really important. I think that teams that I've managed, we try to make sure that we agree what success looks like, and I'm pretty sure that Toto has done that at Mercedes.
Yeah.
What are we going for? What does success look like for us? And we agree that as a team, and make sure that everyone is engaged and lined up behind that purpose, or whatever it is we're trying to achieve. So I think that's really important, to agree what success looks like for the team, and to continually strive towards that. I think is really important. So know what that is, continually change things, or do what it takes to strive towards that, I think.
Yeah.
And I think everyone needs to know what their role is, Darragh. I think everyone needs to know what part they play and how important they are in the team, or what value they bring to the team. So again, looking at F1, whether you're in the pit crew, or you're the driver itself, or you're the manager, you're Toto or you're Lewis, you've got to know what you're bringing to the party, and you've got to realize how important that is. And you've got to, I think, stand up to that responsibility that you have in moving the team forward. So, and I think every team needs a strong leader as well. So one that's, coming back to my earlier points, that inspires, that has a clear direction, that sets a high bar, frankly, that everyone has to line up behind. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's just some views there.
I love that. I love that. Strong identity really came out there. I don't think I've spoken to many people about that identity piece, and like it makes total sense. It's attractive not only to the people in the team, but probably people from outside the team as well. And that's that sense of purpose, and aligning behind that sense of purpose, and knowing what your place is in the team to help achieve that overall goal, to help achieve that purpose that you're striving for.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's superb, Tony. Do you know? I guess one of the things I'm always asking people as well, because I know that actually getting to that high performance it is massively challenging, probably for everybody. There's a huge amount of work in it. Can you tell me about some of the biggest challenges that you've come across, or some of the kind of challenges you would see on that you've come across in your career when trying to get that high performance going?
Lots of challenges, lots of scars on my back, Darragh. There's no doubt about that. When you're in sales, as an individual contributor, or in sales leadership, there's always this constant pressure to be able to not only achieve targets, but to push through those targets. So yeah, I would say consistency around achieving and moving through revenue targets is definitely one. I think being able to attract the right talent and to retain that talent is a biggie as well. But the list goes on. There's lots of considerations, and I could go on.
It's attracting talent is something that has come up a few times. Once you get the right people in the door, retaining them, and I guess attracting the right talent that is, kind of fits the culture. Not only people that are good, but fit the culture of the company, and things like that.
Correct.
Do you think we've been kind of thrust into this remote work era? I think, a lot of people have done some remote work, and a lot of companies have promoted it for a long time. But we're kind of, all of a sudden, we're probably at a place that will never go fully back to where we were. Do you think some of the kind of the fundamentals of building high performance and the fundamentals of leadership have changed due to remote work? Do we need a new way of thinking?
It's a really good question. Actually, you've got me working here, Darragh. Good question. Clearly, there's things have changed, right? Things have changed. So we don't have that face-to-face contact anymore, where we can evaluate talent up close, or to do enablement or training or coaching up close anymore. So there's a high dependence now on technology to help us to do those things. There's no doubt about that. So do I think it's changed? It's definitely changed. How do I think it's changed? I think that there's a greater need for the intervention of technology now to help us. Without it, we'd be nowhere. There's no doubt about that.
It's are there kind of, in terms of technologies, have you found that there are particular technologies that you're kind of leaning on more, or maybe there's even new technologies that you wouldn't have used in the past? How are you enabling technology today?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a suite of tools that we use, or I use in my team. So things like, from a collaboration perspective, we use Slack, and we use it to great effect. Probably too much. We probably over communicate on Slack these days, but we use Slack a lot. And the various, we've probably got too many channels in there now, but Slack's important. Computer-based trainings has become really important now. So CBT. At the moment, we're doing a cybersecurity awareness course online, and without computer-based training, we wouldn't be able to do that. We wouldn't, there's no more classroom coaching as such. So CBT is being used. We use Trello for our planning tool.
Right.
To great effect. So it's a collaborative planning tool that we use. I'm sure the listeners will know about Trello. And it goes on and on and on. I think one of the most important applications that we use is something called Office Vibe. And I think that's not the only application that does this, but Office Vibe is, for those who don't know, is a technology that helps to monitor employee sentiment, employee engagement. It allows them to feedback in an anonymous way, so that you can really understand how people are feeling, both individually and collectively. It has various analytics on the back of it. But it's a whole suite of really essential tools now to help us do what we used to do face to face only a few months ago.
It feels like this. There's probably never a good time for something like this to happen, but it feels like it's happened at a time where I'm referring to COVID, of course, and our need to remote work. But it feels like it's happened at a time where technologies are mature enough to be able to really deliver a superb remote work experience. Like a lot of people I'm talking to, we like, I'm on Teams meetings all day. I'm not Team or Zoom or Google Meet.
Zoom, we're on that now, right? So absolutely.
But it's great to be able to see people and look at body language and stuff. I love your use of Slack. Slack had a nice day. Was it today or yesterday? Uh,
Yeah, absolutely. With Salesforce, right? Was it
with
Salesforce? I think. Yeah, it was.
Salesforce,
Yeah.
yeah, 27 billion or something. Whoa, unbelievable. The
Nice.
the Office Vibe product that you mentioned there, I think that's a really interesting one. I've used is it 15.5? I don't know if it's 15.5 or 5.15, but it was a similar tool where it recorded sentiment and it kind of it facilitated digitally a kind of an open and safe way to communicate one to one between office members and between team members and their leaders. It sounds like Office Vibe is one to check out.
Yeah, it's really useful for us. We fire off different surveys to the teams, and we're able to use it to do, if you like, an internal NPS type score.
Yes.
So yeah, it's really been useful for us. Really useful.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Tony, you know, I guess one of the last thing I'd like to ask you. So I guess for myself and for many people that I've spoken to, one of the things that fascinates me is the kind of the human element of being a leader, and what people in kind of senior positions who have, you know, a huge amount of responsibility for the business and for the people that are within the business, like the tips or tricks or whatever it is you might do to bring the best version of yourself to work. So like you're, you know, Monday to Friday coming in, giving it everything. Do you have any
Yeah.
what do you have any kind of tips or tricks, or do you have anything you'd like to share about how you keep yourself, you know, on fire, I suppose, for want of a better expression?
I like it. Like it. Um, I guess for me, it's really simple for me. I think eating well is a really important thing for me. So eating well and taking on lots of fluids sounds like a strange one, but
No, it
it's
makes
for
sense.
me, it's really important. So I've changed my diet over the years to try to ensure that I've got consistent energy through the day, for example. So less sugary snacks, which were my favorite, I have to admit. So none of this peak and trough business. It's foods that keep me energized through the day. That's really important. So nutrition's one. For me, something again that was, I didn't quite appreciate the importance of this, but sleep, getting the right
Wow.
amount of sleep
Yeah.
is a big one. So I used to go to bed way past midnight quite regularly,
Yeah.
whereas now I'm tucked up at 10 o'clock,
Yeah.
which is but then I'm up fairly early. I'm up around 6 most days, and I'm at it at that time of the morning.
Yeah.
But sleep is really really important. And the other one for me is just regular exercise. So I'm
Yeah.
regularly out there doing 10K walks or interval training. So walk, run, sprint, that type of thing. So after
Very
this, I'll
good.
be out there doing my 10K after this actually. But
Tonight,
yeah, yeah,
you're going.
absolutely.
Oh, well done,
Yeah,
excellent.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
I know
yeah.
it's like it's, you know, it's coming up to it's gone 7:30, 7:30 p.m. on a Friday night. I know a lot of people are
Yeah.
thinking I'm going to have a beer or whatever their tipple might be. So fair play, 10K. That's good. That's good going. You know,
Yeah. Keep a smile on your face as well. That's the other one. Keep
yeah,
smiling.
yeah,
Don't lose your sense of humor. No matter how much pressure comes on top, keep smiling, keep positive. That's the final one.
yeah. I'm reading a book at the moment. It's by a guy, Sean Aker, and he talks about. It's called The Happiness Advantage, and he talks about positive psychology and being happy, and like he talks about the it actually apparently, and I haven't read it all yet, it helps your performance, your cognitive ability, your ability for decision making, etc., which I find fascinating. So having a smile on your face it sounds like a very good advice there. Do you know, Tony, I
Yeah.
think it's real. I guess I hear an awful lot about it, nutrition, and I've always associated it with kind of sport, you know, sports people and having a specific diet. But it's fascinating to hear that you're managing your diet so you don't have that 3 o'clock slump. You've got
Yeah.
kind of a level performance throughout the day,
Yeah,
which
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
don't get me wrong, I do slip up every now and again, and I do
yeah,
my odd cheat day or my odd cheat hour, but
yeah,
by and large, you're absolutely right. Yeah, it's trying to eat the right things
yeah,
for you. You know, the right things for you might be different to the right things for me, right? But
yeah.
finding what works for you.
It's incredible. I often see the analogies between sport and business, but it seems that a lot of what you do in sport, keeping fit, eating right, sleeping right, it applies just as easily to work and performance in the workplace. That's I don't think I've heard anyone saying that to me yet, quite like that. So that's fascinating. That's really cool. Tony, this has been really, really super. It's been lovely speaking with you. I know that anyone who looks at this will get some great nuggets to take away. I've certainly learned a lot talking to you today. Again, I'd just like to thank you. I know you're up the walls as it is, and I'm asking you to have a chat with me at kind of 7 o'clock on a Friday evening. So
Anytime.
thank you so much.
No, you're welcome. Anytime, Darragh. I've enjoyed it. It's been fun.